One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hears back to cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Well. We all made it to Friday the 13th. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. Let's get it. We got Lucille Ball here chilling with us on the, on the chair with us. Guys, we have a humongous morning. Way more news than I expected, to be honest. We're looking at 15 fucking stories this morning. All right, so Pentagon update. Hegseth responds after U.S. service members killed in crash. That is the title of today, and I really should put "and more" on the title because we're going to be discussing a lot more than just what Hegseth and the Pentagon is saying. So let me go ahead and give you guys a rundown of what we're looking at this morning. So, as you guys know, there was an active shooter that was happening yesterday in Michigan, a Michigan synagogue. Active shooter at Michigan Synagogue, Fox 2 reports, and we have the location of the synagogue and the whole street view, the satellite view, I should say, of Temple Israel. Then we have, an update on the whole Michigan Synagogue attack. The suspect is now dead. That was only an hour after the initial report of an active shooter. Then we have an update from, it looks like from officials. Temple Israel shooting update. Gunman rammed car into synagogue. Why? Then we have Trump hosts Women's History Month event at White House, and that happened yesterday. We're probably not going to watch any of that, by the way. We just got too much shit going on. So I actively just closed that tab. We got so many stories. And then Old Dominion shooting, victim identified as ROTC instructor. The victim killed in a shooting at Old Dominion University on Tuesday has been identified as a military science professor and ROTC instructor at the school. He was reportedly killed inside his classroom by the gunman, who also injured two others. Shots rang out shortly before 10:50 a.m. on Thursday, March 12th, inside Constant Hall, that's the way they're calling it, on ODU's main campus. Very interesting. And then we have another update on from the FBI side regarding Old Dominion shooting. The suspect previously convicted of ISIS support, FBI says. What? What is going on with all these weird things? Michigan synagogue attack, a targeted act of violence, quote unquote, against Jewish communities, FBI says. Of course, we knew that is one of the sleeper cell ordeals for sure. And then you guys should have saw the amount of police presence that were there after that attack happened, very quickly too. And then we have breaking 4 U.S. service members killed in aircraft crash in Iraq. It says the U.S. Central Command is confirming the deaths of 4 service members killed in an aircraft crash. CENTCOM says at approximately 2 p.m. Eastern on March 12th, which is yesterday, a U.S. KC-135 refueling aircraft went down in western Iraq. 4 of 6 crew members on board The aircraft have been confirmed deceased as rescue efforts continue. The circumstances of the incident are under investigation. However, the loss of the aircraft was not due to hostile fire or friendly fire. So what the hell happened? It sounds like a malfunction of some sort. And then back to the Pentagon, $11.3 billion, it says. Pentagon estimates the Iran war is going to cost U.S. taxpayers billions. So we're at 11.3 billion so far as being the reported number. And then again, when it comes down to that plane going down, we have an update. Looks like something from CENTCOM. U.S. refueling plane goes down in Iraq, CENTCOM says, which we do know that. U.S. temporarily lifts sanctions on Russian oil, currently, quote, stranded at sea. Not really sure exactly what that means, but I guess we're temporarily lifting sanctions on Russian oil, currently stranded at sea. Interesting. And then we have an update on the Old Dominion shooting. Victim identified. We have all of that for you guys. Let's see. Actually, I pulled that up twice. And then I pulled this up twice. Great. Hegseth, Pentagon update on Iran war after troops killed in Iraq. Now, this just came out an hour ago. This is what basically the title of this show is the Pentagon's update with Hegseth and General Kane. And then we have officials update on Michigan synagogue attack. That's not surprising, and that just came out minutes ago. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're looking at this morning. So, sorry, it's been a rough. I was running behind a little bit. We had a whole bunch of stories going on, and it's just the way of the road. Great to see everyone in the chat, by the way. Let's go ahead and do our call to actions real quick, and then we'll get right into the craziness. Please make sure you guys hit that like button. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are on the vertical side, make sure you guys double tap that screen. If you're on the horizontal, hit that like button, man. And also hit subscribe. This is what we do Monday through Friday, and then Saturday morning for members only. Now, unfortunately, just a little disclaimer, only this weekend. We're not doing members only on Saturday. We're doing it on Sunday because I've got to be, unfortunately, somewhere else on Saturday morning. So we had to move it. But normally it's on Saturdays. Anyways, please consider becoming a member to those, as we're speaking about memberships. Starting only at $3.99 a month, we're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So I very much appreciate you guys becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail, man. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And we also have a Discord server for all of you legends that want to continue the conversation after the show. We hang out all together in there. Make sure you guys go in the video description down below, and you'll grab that invite link for the Discord. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, by the way, we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen at any time. You guys can send in a donation, and I get 100% of the proceeds, and I'll read it out loud just like a super chat. I've got my email up and ready to rock and roll if anything comes our way. All right, great to see everyone in the chat, man. Real quick, I got to give a special shout out. Before we even started, Virginia Chaos coming in and sending it hot before we had even hit go live. Well done, kind sir. Thank you very much. Not only helping me, but you're helping 5 others in the Insane Wheels family, man. I very much appreciate that. Great to see all you guys in the chat, man. We got Steve Posey, Blake's, Pipes in the building. We got Gary as well as SST. Good to see you guys. We got Charles Darwin as well. We got Easy Frank. We got Rabbit of Chaos as well. Good morning to you guys. We got Yo Mama in the chat as well as STMC Prez. Great to see you. You are on the dark side today. Let's see. We're scrolling down as fast as possible. We got Papa Penguin as well. Good morning, kind sir. Good morning. Good morning. We got Joseph up there, our favorite snow Mexican from Canada. Great to see you in the chat, bro. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself this morning. Cameron, my man, as well as Lappy. Good morning to you, gentlemen. We got Chunt with Stacks as well as Beezer. Great to see you guys. We got Motobomb Virginia, by the way. Thank you very much for hanging out with us this morning. And also, I want to give a big special shout out to Sick Bastard with the raid this morning. Thank you very much for that. My man, always great to hang out with you. We got Hardwire 1%er in the building as well as Steve Easy. Shout out to you guys. We're scrolling as fast as humanly possible. Carney Vanguard as well with the raid, my man. Great to see you in the chat. And thank you very much for your guys' support. I'm scrolling as fast as humanly possible, guys. There's so many fucking comments. We got No in the building. Shout out to you. We got Bill Castle as well. And Brother So Loud. Shout out to you guys. We got as well as Tiffany Lance. Good morning. And Pitbull over there across the pond over there in the UK. Good morning to you. All right, so we're about to get into this whole thing. We're going to start off with the active shooter at Michigan Synagogue. And, of course, we're doing this in a timeline, a chronological timeline, right? So this is the very first report of what was happening here. So let's go ahead and bring this up and discuss it.
This active scene is specifically at Temple, Israel in Michigan right there. So we did want to share that with you. According to our Fox 2 Detroit team, Walnut Lake Road, that is where the scene is, and this is in West Bloomfield. So we're going to raise the audio and listen in to our Fox 2 Detroit team.
Let's see. Do I need to speed them up?
Does kind of explain why Skyfox was moving away from the scene. The
I
last
don't know why we can't see anything other than this, but
images we saw from Skyfox before the chopper had to evacuate the flight zone, the area, airspace above what is Temple, Israel, was more emergency vehicles arriving. Initially, we saw at least a couple of police cars.
man, you should see what the police presence ended up being like over there. I mean, it was insane, the amount of cops and law enforcement that were there.
We saw one EMS truck, one fire truck, but then at the end, I had counted 5.
Yes, exactly, Jimmy. That's exactly what I was just getting at right there. I saw the video. I was like, holy shit.
These cars before Skyfox was on the way out. So it did appear that there were more officers arriving on the scene.
So a little bit of information that we do have, West Bloomfield schools, Bloomfield Hills schools are in secure mode due to this situation. Also, the no-fly zone is why our chopper shot was interrupted. We had to move away from the scene just to clear, because that's what the authorities are telling us to do. Also, Jewish organizations throughout Metro Detroit, I believe, are in a protocol to be cautious of this situation as it continues to.
Well, no kidding, obviously. Did we get anything else out of this? Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and just skip ahead here. This came from the Jewish Federation of Detroit. This is their statement.
We will connect with Scott, but here's what we know in the meantime. The statement issued by the Jewish Federation of Detroit. We are aware of a security incident at Temple, Israel. We are advising all Jewish organizations to go into probably lockdown protocol. Nobody in or out of your building. That's from the Jewish Federation.
No, they meant lockout protocol, not the other thing. Lockout protocol. Nobody in or out of your building. Exactly.
Detroit.
Yeah, reporter on scene. We do have in that
See
area.
here. Let's see if there's.
We do have our chopper shot back.
There it is.
Stopped in that area. Is this live or tape? Tape. This is tape. So this is the tape video that we.
Yeah, I'd really like you to explain how this is fake right now, stupid ass.
To obtain before we were told to push our chopper out of the way. And you can just see the beginning of the smoke beginning to bellow, which got worse as time went on. But once again, according to one of our reporters that is close to the scene, that there are police on scene with assault rifles heading into not only the parking lot but into that area to deal with whatever the situation is there. We're told it's an active shooter.
Okay, so now we do have updates on this whole thing, and we're going to go ahead and, of course, move into them because we're in a chronological timeline here. That all happened yesterday, right after the show, actually. And then we have an update that the suspect that did this or whatever, the suspect is dead. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll go ahead and share it briefly here. Here we go.
I do want to report that we have now confirmed that the shooter in this situation is dead, taken down by security there at the church. This is according to police. So we have now confirmation that the person who was responsible, according.
Oh, Joey, it's absolutely got to be involved. It's not been confirmed yet. But I will say that it's absolutely sleeper cell related.
To investigators and trying to do this, whatever it is this person was trying to do, the violence, this person has been taken down, shot, and killed. And so that now we've confirmed the shooter in this situation is dead. That confirmation coming to us here in the 2 o'clock hour.
Okay, and that's really, let's see if we get like an actual identification, name, anything here. It doesn't look like we are Here's some police presence here.
Head covering, a yarmulke or a kippah, or some sort of necklace, or do I need to hide that? People have asked me. I also.
Yeah, he's a naturalized citizen from Lebanon. Yeah. And it's not even an Iranian level sleeper cell. It's specific to basically Lebanon, which is Hezbollah. And, the people up in Lebanon and Hezbollah are really upset at Israel in particular, not necessarily the United States right now, because Israel's the one that's fucking them up in Lebanon right now. So it totally makes sense here.
To teach at the high school one class on Jewish identity, and we discuss this all the time about, is it safe to show Jewish identity publicly?
What's up, Brother Bob, up there in Canada? Good morning to you.
Or is it something that we have to hide? And there's not one right answer. But this is going to definitely impact that and impact how people feel about publicly showing. So for some people, it will make them want to show it more and say, I am proud of who I am and you're not going to scare me. And there are other people who, understandably, are going to say, I'm not so sure. I'm very proud of who I am, but I need to be cautious, show out in the world. And both responses have to be validated and have to be understood and have to be respected. And I think that is going to be one of the key things going forward.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We've got an update as well. The gunman rammed the car, his own car, into the synagogue. And then I don't know if he got out and then started shooting people or what, but let's go ahead and bring this up. This is officials talking about it real quick. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, but we're going to get the basic monologue.
Here's Mike Bouchard, the sheriff of Oakland County.
Okay, so again, this is all going to be super preliminary stuff. And anytime you have a situation like this, information changes and evolves. Here's what we know so far. A car came to the facility, breached the facility by driving into it, was engaged by security. We believe there is one individual deceased in the vehicle. It's been complicated because there was some fire, to say the least, with that vehicle. We believe that individual is deceased. No kids, this is the important thing, no kids or no staff was injured whatsoever. Okay? So we have no victims other than one of the lead security people was hit by the car and was taken to the hospital.
Oh, so this is just a ramming.
For treatment. That individual should be okay. So far, that's our information to this point. We have agencies from all over. Obviously, ATF is here, FBI. More than likely, we'll be taking the lead on this based on some of the preliminary investigative information we have, but we're not going to go into that at this point. But we want to assure the community it doesn't appear to be anything active. We're still clearing the area. We're going to clear vehicles for any explosive devices, the building, etc. Unification of the families and the kids are in progress. We've accounted for everybody that we believe was in the building at the time. So
their live feed is going in and out.
To maybe pivot to, is there anybody else involved, and the investigative side of what's happened.
So you can confirm that it was security that shot and killed the suspect here?
Well, we can't say what killed him at this point, but security did engage the suspect with gunfire.
Wow, good on the security. All right, so it doesn't look like we're going to get much more out of that. But we do have the victim identified as an ROTC instructor. The victim killed in a shooting at Old Dominion University on Thursday has been identified as a military science professor and ROTC instructor at the school. He was reportedly killed inside his classroom by the gunman, who also injured two others. Shots rang out before 10:50 a.m. on Thursday, March 12th, which is yesterday, inside Constant Hall of ODU's main campus. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll quickly discuss it. And you know what? We haven't done yet. We got to get the money part over.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Absolute facts, by the way.
Denied.
But I still love you guys. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up and we'll discuss. Here we go.
Okay, so if you were watching us earlier in the day, you know we were tracking two breaking situations. One
What's up, TJ? Great to see you in the chat, bro. Happy Friday the 13th.
was what we were just talking about in Michigan. The other in Virginia at Old Dominion, and Fox 5 in D.C. traveling down south to report on the scene. The latest in that deadly investigation there. Let's watch.
And first tonight, we are learning a professor of military science, Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw, was the victim killed in today's shooting at Old Dominion University.
And the gunman is a man from Northern Virginia who previously served time for providing support to ISIS. The FBI arriving to the shooter's home tonight in Sterling. That is our big story tonight at 10 o'clock. Our Shamari Stone is live near that home with the latest details.
Well, we're actually bringing viewers closer to the home. We are here on Deb Hill Terrace, and this is where Mohammed Baylor Jallow lived. You can see right now as we
Motherfucking Mohammed.
try to bring you closer here, but at the same time trying to stay away, giving the FBI agents enough room to do what they need to do. You move right here, you see this vehicle. This is where they're walking in and out of. I guess processing evidence here at his home. Over there, between those trees, by those cars, is where you have the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force agents, and they have on FBI jackets over there. Move a little to the left. That is the home where the agents have gone into. Let's roll some video to show you what exactly happened tonight. Now, moments ago, you had FBI agents dressed in tactical gear, armed with military-style rifles.
That's funny, Bob. No, he's in Australia. Yeah, by the way.
As agents talk to people inside of the home, and then the people who live there open the door. Now, neighbors tell me that the folks who live here are relatives of Mohammed Jallow. And the agents went inside the home. After that happened, the FBI agents who were dressed in tactical gear drove away, leaving the Joint Terrorism Task Force here. And what we have seen is that they are taking pictures inside of the home and talking to people.
I'm sure they're going to get every little bit of information they possibly can try to get.
People. Moments ago, there were two people who were...
What I say is get his phone and just go through his Discord or his Signal chat or his WhatsApp. You know what I mean?
In the house that I actually spoke to earlier today, trying to get information, and they say we don't want to. They say we don't want to talk to you, but they are apparently talking to FBI agents because they were walked out into a car and they left. Let's come back out here live so we can continue to tell you about this story. Now, tonight, some of Mohammed Baylor Jallow's neighbors tell me that they are stunned. They say he was quiet, kept to himself ever since he was released from prison. We're also learning more about the man who he killed today at Old Dominion University. Let's show you that video.
Oh, man.
Tonight, we've confirmed Lieutenant Colonel Brandon Shaw, shown in this photo on the Old Dominion University website, is the man who Mohammed Baylor Jallow killed in the shooting rampage. Colonel Shaw was a professor of military science and department chair at the university's ROTC program. The FBI says a group of ROTC students stepped in and killed Jallow.
The brave ROTC members.
Oh, Bob was asking whatever happened to Chris Lestrange. Yeah, he's still around. I go into his live streams almost daily, you know, so he shows a lot of love here too.
In that room, subdued him. And if not for them, I'm not sure, you know, what else he may have done. But that's exactly, they confronted him and they subdued him, and he was no longer able to conduct any further attack.
Jallow also injured two others at Constant Hall at the Norfolk, Virginia campus around 10:45 this morning. The U.S. Army Cadet Command says those victims are members of the university's ROTC program. Tonight, they're in stable condition at a hospital. The front door of Jallow's home in Sterling had a written note saying, quote, "We do not wish to speak to the press."
It shocked everybody here that we actually had a terrorist in our own neighborhood amongst us, and no one even knew it all this time. About 3 or 4 times I passed him walking down this sidewalk, this street here behind you, and he would never look at me eye to eye. I would always look right at him. You know, I'd heard that he was National Guardsman, so I always talk to, you know, soldiers and stuff. I see him, but he would never say anything. And then one day,
no, now Hardwire, you're getting confused. Yes, Chris Lestrange is in South Africa. Charles Darwin is in Australia, and that's what Bob was getting confused with.
FBI came in here. I mean, there's a whole lot of law enforcement came in here and made arrests on him.
These are the court sketches from 2016 when Jallow was convicted of trying to provide material to support the Islamic State of Iraq. He was formerly in the Army National Guard. He pled guilty, was sentenced to 11 years in prison, but was reportedly released in December of 2024.
Damn, he got released? Shit, motherfucker had ties to ISIS.
Neighbors tell me he was living a quiet life after his release.
But I don't have any information indicating that he was known or an ongoing problem.
Yikes.
You're now looking at a live picture of Jallow's home, and as you see, these FBI agents have opened the back of their evidence van, and what they have been doing is going inside the house, coming out, they are processing evidence, and you can see right now they are pulling out equipment going in and out of this home, and see that we're not getting too close, but we are able to bring this as close as we can without getting in their way with this investigation. Neighbors say that they never saw this coming tonight. Keep in mind, earlier today, we were at the home, and people inside did not want to talk to us. I tried to talk to them, and now you have the FBI that came in here, and they are...
What's up, Mr. Shout out to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday the 13th. Great to see you. We're going to move on. We have an update on this whole thing. As you guys know, here it is. Old Dominion shooting suspect previously convicted of ISIS support, FBI claims. We got a little bit of that speech, or we got a little bit of that knowledge from that last video, but let's go ahead and get the rest of it.
Here on Live Now, I do want to go out to some breaking news, though. Let's go out to...
What's up, brother TNT? Great to see you in the chat, bro.
The latest updates from the FBI and other federal agencies, as well as local, for the Old Dominion shooting that left one person dead. Let's listen in.
State and local law enforcement partners to Old Dominion University. This is based on reports of an active shooter. What we know now is there's one deceased victim and 2 at the hospital. We are saddened by this tragedy in our community. The FBI mourns the loss of life in this abhorrent tragedy and violence. I'd like to acknowledge the students who showed extreme bravery and courage by containing the containing the shooter and stopping.
Shit.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Don't stumble over your words. I mean, shit, I do it all the fucking time. I'm just joking.
Further loss of life. The FBI is now the lead investigative agency investigating this as an act of terrorism.
Yeah.
The shooter has been identified as Mohammed Baylor Jallow. In 2016, Jallow was arrested and pled guilty for attempting to provide material support to ISIL, now known as ISIS. Jallow was sentenced to prison in October.
Listen, words are difficult, all right, Charles? Shit. Fucking the English language is a complex motherfucker.
October of 2017 and was released from prison in 2024. FBI Norfolk's Joint Terrorism Task Force.
I am an asshole because we got so much going on. I didn't even fucking pay attention to my email here. I'm an asshole. I apologize to everybody. All right, we got my man Virginia Chaos, by the way, coming in on the Cash App. He says, here is some freaking money. Hashtag Virginia Chaos. Thank you very much, kind sir. Make it rain in the building, my man. Thank you very much, man. That goes a long way. And then we got my man, we got my man Lee Lance coming in on the Cash App as well with another $10 saying Freaky Friday. Let's go. It is definitely Freaky Friday on Friday the 13th, you know what I mean? But thank you guys very much for making that shit rain in the Cash App this morning. I very much appreciate you guys.
This response team responded to the scene and will continue to have a physical presence here at the scene.
What up, 5150? Good morning.
As we process the evidence. Additionally, we are conducting other investigative steps into Jallow and the specifics of the shooting.
It's a lot of craziness.
We have dedicated analytical and tactical support. We are aiding in this investigation throughout the entire time. We will continue to work alongside of our partners and those in the community to find answers. The FBI continues to ask for the public's help in providing any information that could lead us in resolving this investigation, and we remind the public that any detail, no matter how small, could be useful. A collection of those small details may help paint a complete picture. We ask that the public submit their tip.
She's speaking a little slow. We're going to go ahead and speed her up a little bit, all right?
To www.fbi.gov/ODU shooting. Do you have any questions for me or for my partners here? Yes.
With so little details that we know about the shooting so far, how are we able to confirm that
That's right. What's up, Johnny Reno? Great to see you in the chat, bro.
this or this was an act of terrorism?
How it was an act of terrorism? I can tell you that we have confirmed reports that prior to him conducting this act of terrorism, he shouted or stated Allah Akbar, and he was formerly a subject of.
What about that Allah Akbar comment?
Have confirmed reports that prior to him conducting this act of terrorism, he shouted or stated Allah Akbar.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's to be expected. Motherfuckers like Allah Akbar in this bitch. Allah snack bar.
And he was formerly a subject of an FBI investigation in material supporting terrorism.
Agent, were there explosives in his car?
We have no information about any explosives
That's right, Johnny Reno.
in his car or anywhere else at this time.
Did he have one weapon?
As far as I know, we only know of one weapon that he had on his person at this time.
What kind of aid was he giving to ISIL 10 years ago?
He wanted to conduct.
Real quick, my man Bob coming in on the vertical side and sent over a lucky clover for 4 jewels. Man, I very much appreciate you making it rain in the chat, bro. Thank you for that.
A terrorist attack similar to that in Fort Hood, Texas.
Is there any mention of the war in Iran right now?
None whatsoever.
How was he deceased?
There were.
That's right, Tootie Bug. You know what the deal on this Freaky Friday, you know, Friday the 13th. Great to see you guys in the chat, by the way.
Students that were in that.
Make sure you guys hit that like button. We've got 248 people in here between the 2 live streams. Make sure you guys double tap that screen on the vertical side. And if you're on the horizontal, hit that like button. You don't have to like all this craziness, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you for that.
That subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. I don't know how else to say it, but they basically were able to terminate the threat.
I am sorry, but she is not attractive like that, Charles. I mean, you Aussies over there have an interesting, I don't know, what you guys think looks good. I don't know. She ain't fine. We're moving on into Michigan synagogue attack, targeted act of violence against Jewish community, the FBI says. Now, of course, that's not surprising at all.
They're stepping out right now, including Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard. Let's listen in to this live.
What up, Okie? Good morning. Shout out to Oklahoma.
You all set in the back? You're all balanced and stuff? Everybody good?
Yeah, I forget how many it adds up to, but yeah, it's a little bit of money. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for coming. I'm Mike Bouchard. I'm the Oakland County Sheriff. Excuse me, I'm kind of losing my voice. A lot going on today. I kind of want to give the 20,000 foot level, and then we're going to have a number of speakers, both from the police department here, Chief Young, and from the FBI. Obviously, a horrific thing happened tragically here in Oakland County again. So we've been through a number of these things. And the one thing that I want to make sure the local community is aware of first and foremost is this community works together hand in glove. This community takes care of each other. And we have been communicating regularly. I have been texting the chief, not just in West Bloomfield, but every place that's got significant houses of worship, Jewish facilities, synagogues, temples, you name it, over the past 2 weeks. Obviously, what happens around the world sometimes affects us, so we have to think about it and be prepared for it. So we've been talking. I texted actually the head of security from the temple 2 days ago and communicated some information to him. So the first thing the community should know is that we not just today work together, we work together all the time. Our state, our federal, and local partners. Number one. Number two, we train. In our world, preparation is important. We hope and pray it never happens, but that's not a strategy. Preparation is. So all of us have been training together for many years for active shooters or active assailants, mass casualty events, and tragically we've had way more than our share. So that is ongoing and is in place. The third thing is important to note, no children and no staff were hurt. So we know there's evil in the world, and we know they only have to get it right once, And sometimes they do. They may not come on anybody's radar and they show up. But what happens when they show up, that's where training and preparation kicks in. The security staff did an amazing job.
Good.
An amazing job. And you'll get some of the details on that, but they stopped the threat. No kids, no staff were hurt. Now, there were some injuries and things that had to be taken care of. One of the head of security was taken to the hospital. He got knocked down by the car when it breached the building. And we've had 30 law enforcement officers taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. So a lot of our folks from my SWAT team and other agencies are still in treatment because that building became engulfed when the car, and we'll learn all of that through the investigation, why it became engulfed in flames, what
Totally Papa Penguin
was the ignition source. And I think the ATF is taking the origin of that source and origin of the fire. But in any event, what it did, it caused terrible, terrible smoke in that part of the building. And so when all of our people collectively went in that building to search out the threat, to remove innocent, a lot of them took in significant amount of smoke inhalation, and they're at the hospital being treated. So I also know you're gonna have a lot of questions. A lot of those questions.
What's up, Charlie, by the way? Good morning to you.
Can't be answered at this point because it's super preliminary in the investigation. You know, all of us have thoughts of maybe why this happened, but we don't operate in a world where we can presume something. We have to determine it through investigation. And
Shit, Steve Easy's sending over a couple Lucky Clovers for 8 jewels. I very much appreciate that, kind sir. Let's get it. Absolutely.
Specificity. And that is a work
Thank you for
that's
that,
in progress
Jimmy.
as we speak. All of us will work seamlessly together to get the answers, and then it will be called what it is. Obviously, it's a hateful, terrible thing, right? But what drove this person into action, that has to be determined by the investigation. We can presume, but we have to find those facts, and that's going to happen over the next days in time. So we won't be able to get into a lot of the evidentiary questions, but we're available to make sure the community understands that we are still on a very heightened platform. And the most important thing that I would tell the community, don't be afraid to call us. If we're not your own local police department, call your local police department. We'd rather respond to 100 nothings than miss one real deal. The only way we prevent something like this is to get a call. Something's off with my son, my brother, my boyfriend, whatever the case. I saw something posted. That's the only way we interdict, because people are more likely to see or hear something before us. So if you see or hear something, you have to communicate that. And then we can intervene and hopefully prevent. But if we can't prevent, then we respond and mitigate. That's what happened today. And I think based on the early information, it happened flawlessly. So with that, I'll kick it over to my friend Chief Young from West Bloomfield Police Department.
Okay, so that's enough. We got the monologue there. We understand what's happening and the limited amount of information that we've got right now. All right, we got to turn our attention over to the 4 U.S. members, U.S. service members killed in aircraft crash in Iraq. This happened today, I think it was early this morning when it was posted. The U.S. Central Command is confirming the deaths of 4 service members killed in an aircraft crash. CENTCOM says at approximately 2 p.m. Eastern on March 12th, which was yesterday, a U.S. KC-135 refueling aircraft went down in western Iraq. 4 of 6 crew members on board the aircraft have been confirmed deceased as rescue efforts continue. The circumstances of the incident are under investigation. However, the loss of the aircraft was not due to hostile fire or friendly fire. So to me, the way that sounds, it sounds like there was some sort of malfunction with like maybe an engine. I have no idea. There's got to be some sort of just malfunction somewhere here.
Start off with some breaking news that we have been following here as we're learning 4
or human error.
U.S. service members have been killed. Here's a post here from CENTCOM shared just
all the updates, all 6 have gone now. Damn, that's fucking terrible. Yeah. Thank you guys for the update in the chat. I appreciate you. Wow, that's just terrible.
Short time ago, we're learning 4 U.S. service members were killed when a KC-135 refueling aircraft crashed in western Iraq yesterday afternoon. U.S. Central Command confirmed early this morning that the refueling aircraft went down around 2 p.m. Eastern time. 4 of the 6 crew members aboard the aircraft have been confirmed dead as rescue efforts continue. And we do want to just share with you a bit more information as we continue to learn more about this. The circumstances surrounding the incident remain under investigation. Officials said the loss of the aircraft was not the result of hostile fire or friendly fire. The identities of the service members are being withheld pending notification of next of kin and will be released 24 hours after those notifications are complete. A second U.S. official said another KC-135 was involved in the incident and landed.
I wonder how much it costs to build one of those.
Landed safely in Israel, and that's according to Israel's ambassador to the United States. The KC-135 is a U.S. Air Force aircraft that refuels other planes midair, allowing them to fly longer.
Yeah, I'm asking the same question there with you, Bob.
For missions without landing. It can also be configured for medical evacuations and surveillance. The KC-135 has been in service for more than 60 years, supporting the Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and allied aircraft. The Air Force is gradually replacing
what they're showing here, this is the refueler, right?
Fleet with next-generation tankers. But despite these upgrades, concerns have been raised about the durability of the older aircraft. A standard crew includes a pilot, co-pilot, and boom operator who controls the refueling boom from the rear of the aircraft. Some KC-135s are also equipped with wing-mounted pods and can carry cargo or passengers when needed.
What's up, Seymour Cannabis? Good morning to you, and happy Fuck It Friday, or Friday, well, also Friday the 13th.
Now, this crash follows last week's mistaken downing of 3 U.S. F-15E fighter jets by friendly Kuwait fire. Now, I do want to just share this post here with you again from Central Command as we are just getting this in.
Weird, because they're calling it a KC-135, the refueler aircraft. See, it says a U.S. KC-135 refueling aircraft went down in Western Iraq.
And if you are just tuning in, following this breaking news here, as we are sadly learning that 4 U.S. service members were killed in this.
Damn, it's only 40 million. I'm surprised it's that low, actually, now that fucking everything is so fucking. I mean, I know they're not like a B-2 or something, but still.
Aircraft crash in Iraq. So we continue to follow this breaking news. And I also wanted to share with you here that we are keeping an eye on Washington, D.C., because in a matter of moments here, we are going to be getting an update on Operation Epic Fury. We're going to be hearing from War Secretary.
And we do have that update. But first, let's see what Trump is saying here about this whole situation.
So let me put this up quickly as we do await this press conference. This is from President Trump as he shared this to Truth Social just a few hours ago, very early this morning. He said that today the U.S. was totally destroying and killing Iran, warning to watch, quote, what happens to these deranged scumbags today. We are totally destroying.
Deranged scumbags. Shit.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
The terrorist regime of Iran, militarily, economically, and otherwise.
Oh, so he's saying, watch how we fucking strike back today.
Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is no longer. Missiles, drones, and everything else are being decimated, and their leaders have been wiped from the face of the earth. He then goes on to say we have unparalleled firepower.
What's up, Dirty? Good morning.
Unlimited ammunition and plenty of time. President Trump also appeared to signal significant action later on today, as we just read that quote there to you, saying, watch what happens to these deranged scum.
Wow, Pops. Great to see you in the chat, bro. He says here now at the hospital, been a month. Mountain Woman has been here. Thanks for your prayers. Means a lot to Mountain Woman. Her YouTube friends say she says hello. Well, definitely make sure that she hears that I say hello and that we all miss her. And we're continuing to pray for her. Absolutely, man. Thank you for the update, bro.
Bags today. So we're keeping a close eye on all of this here on Live Now from Fox. President Trump ending this off by saying they've been killing innocent people all over the world for 47 years, and now I, as the 47th president of the United States of America, am killing them. What a great honor it is to do so. So once again, that is the latest there from President Trump. And we continue to get these updates in here. Let's put this back up on your screen so we won't miss this press conference once it begins here.
Look at this cat, bro. All right, we're moving on. Okay, so we have an interesting report. $11.3 billion so far. Pentagon estimates the Iran war has cost U.S. taxpayers billions so far. Well, let's go ahead and let's embrace our fuck-ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up. And fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Embrace thy process. You know what I mean? All right, here we go.
Again, let's continue on here on Live Now from Fox and bring into the conversation right now from USA Today, Isabel Mays Osterman. I appreciate your time here on Live Now from Fox. And we're getting into some of the figures of how much this is costing the United States. And these figures are massive. Can you lay the groundwork? What are we looking at?
Yeah, absolutely. So $11.3 billion, that's the cost for the first 6 days of this war in Iran. And that's according to Pentagon estimates that were shared with Congress. Now, I'm told that that cost accounts for just munitions fired alone. So it
Man, this cat's fucking with me right now. She's fucking with me. She keeps clawing the back of my shirt right now. Yeah, she crazy. All right, enough sidetrack.
doesn't even include the cost to operate and maintain the military force that is involved in this war, and it doesn't include the damage that has been done to U.S. facilities or military assets. And now, just to put that in perspective, that is much larger. It's about 1.5 times what Congress allocated for this year to the National Cancer Institute, and it's almost as much as what Congress has allocated this year to.
So it says first week of Iran war has cost the U.S. over $11 billion so far. That's the official number, $11.3 billion.
Head Start, the preschool program.
Yeah, those are just numbers that are really hard to kind of grapple and put your head around. And I know there was a figure out there about the exact initial Operation Epic Fury with the U.S. and Israel, because it started with a major blast, a major blow, taking out the Ayatollah, the supreme leader there, as well as kind of their inner circle. How long can this be sustained for the United States?
Well, some of this cost is not going to be factored in the budget that the military has. And what that means is it's being funded by debt. So it's going to incur an interest cost on the final end. There's also some talk that the president may submit a request for more supplemental funding. We're hearing $50 billion as perhaps that amount that could be submitted to Congress for extra funding to sustain this. But already those numbers are really stacking up. And none of that includes the longer term costs, like, for example, healthcare for veterans injured in this war. What are going to be the assessments of that damage that's done to U.S. bases by Iranian attacks as well?
Yeah, I mean, we're not just talking about shit that how much it's costing us on the attack side, but what about the destruction side? So I think that's being all encompassed in this number, this figure. But we don't need to continue and discuss that. Let's see if there's anything new here. She's just speaking over this.
Entrenched itself for the long.
Okay, this is our report. Let's go ahead and get this report.
I want to take you out to Mike Emanuel, this report on where we stand in this ongoing operation.
Most people say it's already been won. It's just a question of when. When do we stop?
That's the big question for lawmakers as the war in Iran
What's up, Pablo? Shit. Great to see you in the chat,
continues for a 13th day, with much of Tehran now in ruins.
I'm very worried about how long this will drag on.
The goal is not when it ends, it's what you leave behind. It's like Afghanistan.
The Iranian regime has entrenched itself for the long haul. Its new supreme leader released a statement Thursday pledging more attacks on U.S. bases in the region. While vowing...
Yeah, I saw that. The liberals are losing their fucking mind over it. Crazy.
...continue harassing ships in the Strait of Hormuz, effectively closing the critical channel for transporting oil out of the Middle East.
We're going to look very strongly at the Straits. The Straits are in great shape.
With so much of Iran's military depleted, they're relying largely on drones and missiles to harass Gulf neighbors, with an emphasis on oil facilities. The administration says Iran is only further isolating itself.
The Iranian strategy of sowing chaos, shooting in all directions, is absolutely backfiring.
But as gas prices go up and up, the prospect of a drawn-out war becomes more politically complicated.
My wife just texted me from Costco and said gas is up 80 cents a gallon.
Iran has warned the world to get ready for oil to hit $200 a barrel. That's more than twice where it's at now.
Jeez.
In Washington, Mike Emanuel.
That'd be terrible.
Fox News. news.
All right, U.S.
I hate
and the
when they
White
do
House
that.
noting that they're going to tap into
Fake news. I hate when they fucking do that at the end of the report. All right, we're moving on. So let's see if there's any update on this. If this is the same thing, it looks like it's not. It's a very quick 1-minute update regarding that U.S. refueling plane that went down in Iraq. So let's go ahead and
welcome
see.
back in here to Live Now from Fox. I'm Andy Mack. As it changes minute by minute, hour by hour, we do want to provide a new update on an incident that happened in the Middle East of a U.S. plane that was downed. This from Central Command. They're clarifying exactly what was happening here today. Is the U.S. Central Command aware of the loss of a U.S. KC-135 refueling aircraft? The incident occurred in friendly airspace during Operation Epic Fury.
And at first, they were reporting that 4 out of the 6 have died. But now the update is that all 6 have not made it.
Rescue efforts are ongoing. 2 aircraft were involved in the incident. One of the aircraft went down in western Iraq. The second landed safely. This was not due to hostile fire or friendly fire. So CENTCOM clarifying what's going on there is U.S. plane, military plane going down in Iraq. I want to put up a live picture of Tel Aviv here and give you a little bit more sense of what we're watching here. An American military refueling plane went down there in the Middle East as rescue efforts are now underway. Central Command said the 2 aircrafts were involved. One landed safely. The other was down in western Iraq. The U.S. official telling our Associated Press said the other plane involved was also a KC-135. They'll say more information will be made available as this situation continues to develop there in that region.
Of course, that's what we do. We follow all this shit. All right, so now U.S. temporarily lifts sanctions on Russian oil currently, quote, stranded at sea. Very interesting development here. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll discuss it. We still got a lot to get through here. We still got to get the Pentagon update here, and right after this story here, we've got a lot of shit going on here, man. So listen, we're definitely going to be going into overtime today. So you guys must obey.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Now that everyone's got the proper propaganda, you guys have been hypnotized now. Here we go.
You're watching Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. We continue to keep a close eye on the energy markets as the war in the Middle East unfolds. Breaking coming into the newsroom. In the past hour or so, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying this on social media. The president is taking decisive steps to promote stability in global energy markets and working to keep prices low as we address the threat and instability posed by the terrorist Iranian regime. He continues, to increase the global reach of existing supply, the Treasury Department is providing a temporary authorization to permit countries to purchase Russian oil currently stranded at sea. This narrowly tailored short-term measure applies only to oil already in transit and will not provide significant financial benefit to the Russian government, which derives the majority of its
Here, Dirty, I got you.
Why are you gay?
Energy revenue from taxes assessed at the point of extraction. President Trump's pro-energy policies have driven U.S. oil and gas production to record levels, contributing to lower fuel prices for hardworking Americans. The temporary increase in oil prices is a short-term and temporary disruption that will result in a massive benefit to our nation and economy in the long term. So, this just coming down, and we'll wait to see what more we learn about this plan from the White House. The White House, of course, is under pressure to calm the markets, the energy markets, but the tools at its disposal are limited. Ben Gieman, an energy reporter at Axios, standing by to discuss this with us.
Well, we really don't need analysis on this ordeal. We at least know what's happening. Some some countries are going to be lifted from the sanctions on Russian oil. I'm guessing handpicked decisions by the United States, obviously. So let's go ahead and move on. We've got the update from the Pentagon. We have to get into it. It is a little lengthy. We're not going to play the whole thing. We just need the entire front monologue of it. So here we go. And we're going to speed it up as well because we're already way behind in that aspect.
Good morning. I'll start, as we often do here at the Department of War, with the bottom line up front. For the world to hear, and the press to actually admit, that the United States is decimating the radical Iranian regime's military in a way the world has never seen before. Never before has a modern, capable military, which Iran used to have, been so quickly destroyed and made combat ineffective, devastated. We said it would not be a fair fight, and it has not been. As I stated during our first press conference on day 2, that was 10 short days ago.
What's up, 2-4?
The combination of the world's 2 most powerful air forces is unprecedented and unbeatable. Between our Air Force and that of the Israelis, over 15,000 enemy targets have been struck. That's well over 1,000 a day. No other.
So, yeah, right now, the update is now 15,000 locations have been struck. Well, actually hit.
Combination of countries in the world can do that. So today, as we speak, we fly over the top of Iran and Tehran. Fighters and bombers all day, picking targets as they choose. As our intelligence gets better and better and more refined. Looking up, the IRGC and Iranian regime sees only 2 things on the side of aircraft: the Stars and Stripes and the Star of David. The evil regime's worst nightmare. Iran has no air defenses. Iran has no air force. Iran has no navy. Their missiles, their missile launchers and drones being destroyed or shot out of the sky. Their missile volume is down 90%. Their one-way attack drones yesterday, down 95%. And as the world is seeing, they are exercising sheer desperation in the Straits of Hormuz. Something we're dealing with. We have been dealing with it, and don't need to worry about it. We're on plan to defeat, destroy, disable all of their meaningful military capabilities at a pace the world has never seen before. But it's not just that Iran doesn't have a functioning air force, or that their entire navy is at the bottom of the Persian Gulf, or their missile force is shrinking daily. Even more importantly, they also don't have the ability to build more. That's the most important component I'd like to emphasize today. Soon and very soon, all of Iran's defense companies will be destroyed. For example, as of 2 days ago, Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity, every company that builds every component of those missiles, has been functionally defeated, destroyed. Buildings, complexes, and factory lines all across Iran destroyed. So we're shooting down and destroying what missiles they still have in stock, but more importantly, ensuring that they have no ability to make more. Their production lines, their military plants, their defense innovation centers, defeated. Iran's leadership is in no better shape. Desperate and hiding, they've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured. He put out a statement yesterday, a weak one, actually, but there was no voice and there was no video. It was a written statement. He called for unity. Apparently killing tens of thousands of protesters is his kind of unity. Iran has plenty of cameras and plenty of voice recorders. Why a written statement? I think you know why. His father, dead. He's scared, he's injured, he's on the run, and he lacks legitimacy. It's a mess for them. Who's in charge? Iran may not even know. With every passing hour.
No, I did not see that, by the way, Steve Easy. Thank you for giving me that update. I'm glad that they finally did that, but they needed, they had a lot of pushback from independent media sources, such as myself, that are going, no fucking way. This is, that doesn't make sense,
Or we know, and we know they know, that the military capabilities of their evil regime are crumbling. They can barely communicate, let alone coordinate. They're confused, and we know it. Our response, we will keep pressing, we will keep pushing, keep advancing, no quarter, no mercy for our enemies. Yet some in this crew, in the press, just can't stop. Allow me to make a few suggestions. People look up at the TV and they see banners, they see headlines. I used to be in that business, and I know that everything is written intentionally. For example, a banner or a headline, Mideast war intensifies, splashing on the screen the last couple of days, alongside visuals of civilian or energy targets that Iran has hit, because that's what they do. What should the banner read instead? How about Iran increasingly desperate? Because they are. They know it, and so do you, if it can be admitted. Or more fake news from CNN. reports that the Trump administration underestimated the Iran war's impact on the Strait of Hormuz. Patently ridiculous, of course. For decades, Iran has threatened shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. This is always what they do, hold the strait hostage. CNN doesn't think we thought of that. It's a fundamentally unserious report. The sooner David Ellison takes over that network, the better. Another example of a fake headline that I saw yesterday, war widening. Here's a real headline for you for an actual patriotic press. How about Iran shrinking, going underground? You see, Iran's leaders are hiding in bunkers and moving into civilian areas. The only thing that is widening is our advantage. Not to mention our Gulf partners stepping up even more, now going on the offense, and have always been with us on the defense with collective and integrated air defenses. Our will, it is unshakable. Our options, maximized, and our capabilities still building. We're going up, they're going down. As I said from the start, President Trump holds the cards. He'll determine the pace, the tempo, and the timing of this conflict. His hand firmly on the wheel, as well as on the throttle setting. America first, peace through strength, in action. From day one, as our nation expects and the president demands, our warriors have fought with lethality, precision, and rapid innovation. In fact, today will be, yet again, the highest volume of strikes that America has put over the skies of Iran and Tehran. The number of sorties and number of bomber pulses, the highest yet, ramping up and only up. And quantity has a quality of its own as we continue to ramp up. Every tool of AI, of cyber, of space, EW, counter UAS, you name it, we're employing it. Blinding, confusing, and deceiving our enemy. Because we know who the good guys are here. And the American people do too. And that makes my job simple. I serve God, the troops, the country, the Constitution, and the President of the United States, and answer only to those. All in service of victory on the battlefield and the military objectives that we've laid out from day one. Defeat the missiles, missile launchers, and defense industrial base, which I laid out.
Real quick, holy shit. My man, Virginia Chaos, sending in a little Skrilla on the Cash App, my man. I very much appreciate you, bro. He already sent in a 10 spot this morning, but he sends in another 5 and says, overtime paper for your work. My man, thank you very much. Making it rain in the Cash App. I very much appreciate that, kind
Defeat
sir. Thank you.
the Navy and deny Iran the ability to have a nuclear weapon. Clear, decisive, achievable. And Admiral Cooper knows, the CENTCOM commander who we spent a couple of hours with last night, that in pursuit of those objectives, we have his back in every way. His commanders know that, and so do the troops in harm's way. Admiral Cooper gets what he needs, the assets, the authorities, the munitions, you name it. We will stop at nothing to win. War is hell. War is chaos. And as we saw yesterday with the tragic crash of our KC-135 tanker, bad things can happen. American heroes, all of them. And as I have with all of them, as we have, we will greet those heroes at Dover, and their sacrifice will only recommit us to the resolve of this mission. But war, in this context and in pursuit of peace, is necessary, which is why each day on bended knee we continue to appeal to heaven, to Almighty God's providence, to watch over and give special skill and competence to our leaders and to our warriors. To those warriors who this nation prays for every single day, I hear from all of you out there who pray for them every day. Stay on bended knee and pray for them. I continue to say to them, Godspeed. May the Lord bless you and keep going. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. Before I start with an update, I also want to address the tragic loss of our KC-135 refueling aircraft yesterday. The incident occurred over friendly territory in western Iraq while the crew was on a combat mission, and again, was not the result, as CENTCOM has said, was not the result of hostile or friendly fire. We're still treating this as an active rescue and recovery operation. As CENTCOM announced this morning, 4 airmen have been recovered, and the Air Force and U.S. Central Command will provide updates as information becomes available. Please keep these brave airmen, their families, friends, and units in your thoughts in the coming hours and days. Our service members make...
Real quick, we got 405 people, actually 416 people in here now. Make sure you guys double tap that screen if you're in here. Hit that like button on the horizontal. Double tap that screen if you're on the vertical. Listen, you don't have to like all this craziness, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you guys. Here we go.
An incredible sacrifice to go forward and do the things that the nation asks of them. It's a reminder of the true cost of the dedication and commitment of the Joint Force. We're also aware of a fire on board the USS Gerald R. Ford. We're thinking about the crew there who are injured in the fire. We believe and hope that everyone will be okay, and we're grateful for that. And for any further questions on that, we'd refer you to NAVCENT or to the Navy. This morning, we enter the 13th day of Operation Epic Fury, and we continue to make progress towards our military objectives. As the Secretary said, today will be our heaviest day of kinetic fires across the operating area. CENTCOM continues to attack ballistic missile and drone capabilities so that they are no longer a threat to U.S. forces, our bases, or our partners. They're continuing to destroy the Iranian Navy to ensure freedom of navigation, and this means going after Iran's mine laying capability and destroying their ability to attack commercial vessels. And we're targeting their defense industrial base so they cannot rebuild the capabilities that can harm America's interests or our partners in the future. As Admiral Cooper said in his update on Wednesday, Iranian combat power continues to decline as a result of the continued strikes, as the Secretary talked about. We've attacked over 6,000 targets, and our strike packages continue to launch every hour, and we've maintained an unprecedented number of sorties up overhead of Iran. CENTCOM is now persistently over the enemy, and a result, we've seen a reduction in missile and one-way attack fires, as the Secretary said. In less than 2 weeks, we've rendered the Iranian Navy combat ineffective and continue to attack naval vessels, including all of their Soleimani-class warships, which were armed with anti-ship missiles and anti-aircraft weapons. We've made progress, but Iran still has the capability to harm friendly forces and commercial shipping, and our work on this effort continues. But I want to make something clear. The only thing preventing commercial traffic and flow through the Straits right now, which there is some through the Straits, is Iran. They are the belligerents here holding the Straits closed, although there is some traffic moving through there. We've made it a priority to target Iran's mine-laying enterprise, their mine layers, the naval bases and depots, in addition.
What's up, brother Straight Jacket? Great to see you in the chat, bro.
To the missiles that could influence the Straits, and CENTCOM continues to attack those efforts. And we continue to make progress on the industrial base to include factories, weapons, warehouses that are stored in, and we will continue to do so in the coming days, especially today. Now, as I often do, I want to share a little bit about our incredible joint force. Today, I'm going to talk about our incredible artillery force comprised of American soldiers and Marines who've been sinking ships, destroying depots, and launching Army tactical missile systems, or ATACMS, precision strike missiles, or PrSMs, and high-mobility rocket systems, or HIMARS. From outside Iran, our Army and Marine artillerymen are hitting sites that Iran relies on to project power beyond their borders and protect our deployed. In just the first 13 days of this operation, our artillery forces have made history. They fired the first precision strike missiles ever used in combat, reaching deep into enemy territory. They've used Army ATACMS to sink multiple ships, including a submarine, and they've done all of this with the precision and determination that comes from relentless training and trust in each other and in their weapon systems. Yesterday, I had the incredible honor and privilege of speaking with some of our young soldiers from the 3rd Battalion, 27th Field Artillery Regiment out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the unit and the crew that fired the first precision strike missiles. The soldiers I met came from all over this great country: New York, Texas, Delaware, California. One had been in the Army only 6 months and been in the unit for 2 months and was already deployed. He was the youngest at 20, but you would not know it from the way that they talked about their mission. The others were 22 and 28 years old. They spoke with a sense of calm pride, purpose, and clarity that tells you clearly they understand the weight of what they're doing and the people who depend on them. I asked them to walk me through a fire mission. I asked not just what they do, but what they feel, especially those first crew members on this particular mission. These soldiers basically live in these vehicles behind us. The cab, very tight, 2 folks sit next to each other with the crew commander behind them. It's jammed inside there with their personal weapons and kit, and they sit and wait for a fire mission. And when that fire mission comes, they close the armored doors and begin to program the systems. They then throw 3 simple toggle switches, and 10 to 15 feet behind them, a rocket motor ignites, and the round is headed downrange to do the nation's work. I asked these youngsters, these young, awesome Americans, what does that feel like? And one of them just looked at me and said, "It's awesome." No drama, no hesitation, in the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, in the sun, the rain, and the snow, flawless execution. Their Marine counterparts are out there doing the same thing every night. Same work, same pressure, same expectations, same results. And we hand tremendous and enormous responsibility to these young Americans, and they carry it with a level of maturity, grit, professionalism, and tenacity that makes me incredibly proud to be a part of their joint force. Their parents and families would and should be incredibly proud, and their leaders and I trust them to do the deeds that they must do in difficult circumstances every single time. I also want to touch today I want to touch for a moment today on their leadership. These young Americans are led by extraordinary young leaders out at the tactical edge. Yesterday, the battery commander and her NCO were there with this crew on the same video screen. The two of them hardly said a word. They didn't have to. In their eyes, and in particular, the commander's eyes, you could see the quiet trust and confidence she had in these soldiers and the rest of their battery. It came through loud and clear, and we appreciate their leadership. When I asked these soldiers yesterday, what is it that you need from the Secretary and I, they looked at each other, paused for a moment, and looked back at me and said, "More rounds, sir." It was awesome. So thank you to those soldiers and Marines out on the firing line supporting our mission, and thank you to their families. Our joint force will continue today to deliver dynamic fires against the enemy from the land, sea, and air. We remain deeply grateful for their service, and for the third time today, I'll mention that today will be our busiest day. This mission remains complex, dangerous, and difficult, and every service member has a family waiting for them to return home. And I want to thank all of the families today who are supporting their deployed forces and those doing the work here in the States. On a personal note today, I also want to thank the joint staff and the team that I have the pleasure of working with, some of them right here in this room. They are working 24 hours a day to deliver the options that we must to the Secretary and to the President. Today, as I close, I ask that we remember our fallen and those participating in the recovery operations to bring home our lost KC-135 crew, that we keep those service members and their families in their thoughts and prayers. Those are very, very, very tough days when that knock comes on the door for people on both sides of the door. Again, thank you to our deployed, thank you to our fallen and to their families and to the Joint Force. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, sir. Chairman.
Alexandra Ingersoll, One America News. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Strait of Hormuz and when it might be fully operational again? And how do we ensure our objective of denying Iran a nuclear weapon if they continue to align with our adversaries?
So I'll take it and chime in, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like it all. I want to emphasize what the chairman said about that. The only thing prohibiting transit in the Straits right now is Iran shooting at shipping. It is open for transit should Iran not do that. Now, there's a reason why we chose, as one of our primary objectives, destroy the Navy. We understood the ability to interdict shipping is something Iran has done for 40 years. It's key terrain. They've used it as leverage. The world is seeing what they'll do to fight back in that context. And so we've heard them talk about taking various measures, and we're planning for all of them. So we have a plan for every option here. We're working with our interagency partners, and that's not a strait we're going to allow to remain contested or with a lack of flow of commercial goods. So we're aware of that. We're laser focused on our military objectives, but also want to make sure our partners across this government understand we're working with you to make sure that energy flows. And that's an important part. And the second question was on the nuclear capability.
Yeah, but in all fairness, both things can be true at the same time.
As we said from the beginning, their strategy shifted just from defense of their nuclear facilities to a conventional umbrella of so many missiles that no one would challenge their ability to the opportunity to defeat their nuclear capabilities. And it was growing by the day. So with Iran at its weakest moment, going at that ballistic missile capability creates an opportunity to ensure at any point in time that Iran give up their nuclear capabilities, or if need be, you prevent them from doing it, as the president has done once already with Operation Midnight Hammer, obliterating those capabilities. So the conventional side is a huge part at getting at denying nuclear capabilities, if you have anything you want to add.
Appreciate the question. I'm not going to comment on what we may or may not be thinking about any options that the Joint Force could be tasked to do in the future, whether it's on the nuke matter or anything else. Thank you.
But we have options.
The mines that are in the Strait of Hormuz and our ability to, obliterate them.
We retain a range of options to solve a whole variety of problems, and that is one set of options that we have, that we hold on to. So, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. Mary Margaret with Daily Wire. Thank you both for the update. ABC News has updated its story from yesterday, clarifying that the FBI report on Iran possibly striking California was unverified. I just want to ask you, what impact did that original reporting have on the public, and does Iran even have the ability to conduct such a strike? And then just really quickly on another note, what role did Vice President Vance play in counseling the president on this conflict? Can you speak to some of the media reporting suggesting that there is a division there?
That reporting on California obviously had no impact on us. Also, we're used to bad reporting. We're used to ill-informed reporting. And so it doesn't change how we operate, but we engage with it to prove that it's not true, as CENTCOM has done so well. Ultimately, I look at the reports on a daily basis of threat. Our interagencies all over it. My partners across government are all over, looking for indications and warnings, keeping the American people safe. There's a lot of things Iran has said it can do for a long time, thankfully, including engaging their proxies and getting them involved in the fight, which they haven't been able to do. So we're watching that very closely. And as far as the vice president, He's an incredible member, leader of this team as well, alongside the president and Secretary of State. I can't say enough great stuff about this team, how it works together, how it provides options to the president, and the vice president every single day is a key voice in that, an indispensable voice in that, actually. In the middle there, red tie. Yes.
Michael Gordon, Wall Street Journal. Iran is thought to have 440 kilograms of highly enriched uranium in at least 2 locations and several thousand kilograms of lower purity material. Can you conclude this mission successfully without physically taking control of that material, or are you counting on diplomatic negotiations to provide some measure of control leading to its removal? You've mentioned missiles, you mentioned drones, military industry. You haven't stipulated that.
No, I'm trying not to interrupt this part because this is the lengthy part, and we're almost done with it, actually.
Taking care of that material is a mission priority.
We've said from the beginning, deny Iran nuclear weapons as a core mission. We retain options across the spectrum to ensure that they never do. And President Trump has said that. And that's why this mission actually couldn't have been possible without Midnight Hammer. Without what those B-2s did going across and obliterating those facilities, that set the condition for the opportunity to do what we're doing now. So the president's kept his eye focused on nuclear capabilities. And I will say we have a range of options, up to and including Iran deciding that they will give those up, which of course we would welcome. They weren't willing to do in negotiations. I would never tell this group or the world what we're willing to do or how far we're willing to go, but we have options for sure. Right next to him. No, right there.
Right here, sir? Right here? I'll take it for sure.
Zip right there, yep. No, you, yep.
Okay, thank you, sir. Can you please provide some guidance? It's been 13 days in. Can you please provide some guidance, both of you, about the strike on the girls' school? There's been reporting that indicates that preliminary inquiry, even though it's ongoing, has determined that the airstrike was carried out by the United States. Given that there is another competing narrative that this was done intentionally, can you provide us with some guidance about whether this was the case? Secondly, we are also getting, we had heard yesterday from Energy Secretary Wright that said that the U.S. Navy would not be ready until the end of the month to provide escorts through the Strait of Hormuz. Is that an accurate assessment? And if so, can you tell us why? Thank you.
Well, with an issue on your first topic, an issue of such seriousness, we're not going to let reporting lead us or force our hand into indicating what happened in a particular situation, because the truth matters. So I can report that CENTCOM has designated an investigating officer to complete a command investigation. The command investigation will take as long as necessary to address all the matters surrounding this incident. And the investigating officer is from outside CENTCOM and is a general officer. But I will note to this group and to the world, there's only one entity in this conflict between us and Iran that never targets civilians. Literally never targets civilians. I look at the process that's used on dynamic strikes or on boat strikes and others. We have a very high fidelity process in that case. So we don't target, Iran does. We will investigate, we'll get to the truth, and we'll share it when we have it. Absolutely. And what was the second
question? About the Strait of Hormuz, about the Navy.
It's a tactically complex environment, and before I think we want to take anything through there at scale, we want to make sure that we do the work pursuant to our current military objectives to do that safely and smartly. So we're continuing to develop.
And we do a lot of work.
Yeah.
And like I said, it is dynamic, but this is, I think, almost by 20% the largest day of strikes. And as I said, our intelligence just gets better and better. That feedback loop feeds itself. And as we refine those targets, it exponentially increases what we can hit and why, to include strategic things the world's talking about and looking at. And it's our job to have a plan for it, which we do, to address it, and ensure that the president has options. We've done that from the beginning in this department. He'll have options on that topic as well.
An
investigation is an investigation. That's what it is. It doesn't mean anything other than that. Yes.
Ryan Morgan with the Epic Times. Regarding today's busy day of strikes, last week you guys discussed the progress of the air campaign to gain air superiority and a transition from these standoff weapons launched at range to more overhead strikes.
Charles, why do you think I actually thank her for doing what she does? I mean, it's a lot of work.
Can you now say that these strikes today are going to rely entirely on stand-in over-the-top weapons, or are standoff range weapons still in play?
It's a great question. I can say, based on the report I read this morning at 0600, only 1% of the munitions we're using today are standoff munitions. The rest are over-the-top, the types of which we have a plethora, which was our goal from the beginning. You use standoff, which are more exquisite. You transition to a much larger magazine depth, ensuring that you're preserving all the capabilities you have and your options across the force.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Has Iran placed any mines since the war started? Is Iran placing new mines?
We've heard them talk about it, just like you've reported recklessly and wildly about it. But we have no clear evidence. We have no clear evidence of that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Secretary, given everything the U.S. have accomplished in the last 24 hours, as of today, how do you define success in this military option? And has that definition changed from day one? And also regarding Iran government telling countries hosting U.S. American bases that they could face attacks, what is the...
I'm going to get the raid set up right now, by the way.
About that. First question is, what is the objective?
How do you define success as of today?
Yeah, I mean, we define success, again, 13 days in, by reaching the military objectives that we've laid out. Launchers, missile launchers, defense industrial base, their Navy, the ability to project power in the naval sense, leading toward denying them to get a nuclear weapon. And we've got internal metrics that look at that we represent to the president, who then can decide how long he'd like to continue in pursuit of those military objectives. So that hasn't changed. There's a lot of things a lot of people talk about, what they want us to do or what we should do or what we should stay focused on. And again, I've addressed this before, and I think it's worth saying again, mission creep or expansive missions or prolonged timelines or democracy building or nation building, you name it, has not been part of what President Trump wants us to be involved in. We're solving for something here, this particular mission set, but also recognizing this country's conditioned to previous leaders, whether it's George W. Bush or Barack Obama or Joe Biden, who had these expansive, nebulous mission sets that kept changing all the time. And so the timeline kept moving, and we kept pouring more troops in and on the ground. And then pretty soon everyone wonders, like I did in Afghanistan in 2012, what's our mission here? I'm not clear what it is. We're taking the opposite approach here and saying we've defined these objectives, we're pursuing those objectives. The president has his hand on the throttle and will decide ultimately when they've been reached that serve the purposes of the United States of America, American interests first.
Yeah, right here. Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. Polls show over 80% of Republicans support the president's military action in Iran, but there's some consternation in parts of the party, particularly from your fellow Fox News alum, Tucker Carlson. He called the war disgusting and evil, and then said of unconditional surrender, which the president has called for, means foreign troops get to rape your wives and daughters. Have you heard these comments, and what's your reaction to them?
We're busy executing on behalf of great patriotic Americans with a clear mission that's 47 years overdue. We're going to execute on that regardless of what people say about it. Yeah, right here.
You have said that the U.S. military has essentially aerial superiority, naval superiority over Iran, yet we're not escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Why? How did you not plan for this?
We planned for it. We recognize it. Because ultimately we want to do it sequentially in a way that makes the most sense for what we want to achieve and ensure that we're sending the right signals to the world when we do so. So when Chris Wright speaks or we speak, it's based on a full assessment of what we're up against, what we want to say to the world, how that we want them to see and understand the conflict. It's like this whole idea of the war widening. That's what the press wants to make it look like it's widening and chaos is ensuing. No, we're actually closing in on grabbing hold of and controlling what objectives we want to achieve and how we want to achieve them. It's called shaping operations and setting the conditions. But when you shape the environment, you don't always tell. I mean, foolish political leaders and foolish military leaders of the past will hang an exact deadline on it. Or here's exactly when we'll do what we're going to do. Or here's how long it's going to take us. And then if you meet that, maybe you meet it. But if you don't, you fail. And if you're far beyond, we know exactly what we're shaping and why. We're sending those signals working across the interagency. The Strait of Hormuz is something we've paid attention to.
No, I didn't hear about that, Jimmy. You're going to have to send me that info for sure.
From the beginning. And the American people can rest assured we will ensure that our interests are advanced, no doubt. Yeah, right there, green jacket.
I think this is the last question. Yes, it is going to be the last question.
Mike Bress with the Washington
We're very
Examiner.
close to it.
How many American casualties have there been, and where were the American service members when they were injured?
I mean, it's a bunch of return to duty. So we've had the large majority have gone.
Well, the report was 108 of them went back to duty. And I'm like, man, that's a little hard to believe, but all right.
On in for some medical treatment, return to duty. We've had in Kuwait, Jordan, down across the southern flank a little bit, a variety of places, most from one-way attack strikes.
But I would clarify that. I think what we've tried to do here is clarify those numbers rather than saying KIA or WIA wounded. Be more clear about that because the overwhelming majority, almost 90%, thank God, are returned to duty. Minor injuries returned to duty, and so that number can look a certain way, and our job is to add some fidelity to it.
Yeah, I must have not have caught it, Jimmy Mack.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. David Zia, Real America's Voice. Can you share what types of munitions have been used on the attacks on commercial shipping? Have any hit mines? And are USVs, unmanned surface vehicles, being used? And just a quick follow-up, were there any arrests in Fort Campbell with the drone thefts?
I'm not familiar with the Fort Campbell thing. The strikes that Iran has taken on shipping up north in the vicinity of Kuwait have been, I believe, from surface-to-surface missiles up there. We've not seen any USV activity out of Iran that we've seen in the Gulf at this point.
Nor have any ships hit mines or anything.
Yeah, there's
like
been
that.
no.
It's still flowing
Thank
through.
you. There's been no strikes.
One more time, right here.
Thank you so much. Heather Mullins, Lindell TV. My first question is, President Trump is set to meet with Xi Jinping in a couple weeks. How much support, if any, has China been given the Iranian regime? And then the second question, just, I know President Trump calling for an unconditional surrender from Iran. Given that the U.S. is working in partnership with Israel on this whole operation, is Iran expected to meet demands of both countries or just the U.S., and what are those demands?
Well, we're proud to partner with the incredible capabilities the Israelis have, but our objectives are our objectives, and so when those are met, as we meet those, we'll set the tempo of when those are met. What was the first question?
He's meeting with Xi Jinping.
Oh,
in a
yeah.
couple
The president
weeks.
has a historic relationship with President Xi. They look forward to having a dynamic conversation. Two powers. President Trump ultimately has established terms of that relationship which advance the United States of America, and that meeting will continue to ensure we advance that. That's all I got.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
That's going to be it right there. Ladies and gentlemen, man, that last part was long, and I tried to not interrupt too much. I don't want to make a 2, 3, 4 hour live stream. I like being able to condense everything into a single hour, but lately, because of the Iran coverage that we've been doing, we've been going over by a long shot. So we're at 1 hour and 25. I very much appreciate you guys. Stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding our buddy John Galt. Make sure you guys let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. Make sure you guys hit that like button as well as double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. I very much appreciate your guys' engagement. Thank you guys for the donations and embracing your fuck ups. Much love, honor, respect, everybody, and God
Don't
bless.
beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken, he rides on 2 wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit.